All right, let's break down the Occupational English Test, or OET. We're going to look at exactly what you can expect in every single part of this exam.
The OET is way more than just a language test. It's really a hands-on assessment of the 4 core skills you use every day in healthcare: listening, reading, speaking, and writing. The whole point is to mimic the real communication challenges you're going to face in a clinical setting. So here's our game plan. We'll start with a quick look at the whole exam structure. Then we'll dive deep into each of the 4 sections, one by one. And to wrap it up, we'll get to the big idea, the one thing that really ties this whole test together.
Okay, let's jump right into the big picture. What does the OET exam actually look like from start to finish?
Okay, so this table gives you a great snapshot of how the 4 sections are weighted. You'll notice right away that reading gets the most time, a full 60 minutes, while speaking is the quickest, at about 15. And each one of these sections is designed to test a very specific skill, whether it's understanding a dialogue or putting together a formal medical report. First up, the listening section. This part is all about testing your ability to understand spoken English in all kinds of clinical scenarios. You've got about 40 minutes to work through 42 questions. The real challenge here is to listen to recordings of real-world medical conversations and pull out those key details with total accuracy.
So what's the magic number? What are you aiming for? Well, to pass the listening section, you're generally going to need to get around 30 out of those 42 questions right. That's a really clear target to keep in mind when you're practicing.
This section starts with Part A. Here, you'll listen to a consultation, and your job is to fill in the professional's notes. It's basically like live note-taking. And listen, this part is so important. Why? Because it has the most questions, and it's all about how well you can catch those specific details. That's why it has such a big impact on your final score.
Next up is Part B. This is where you have to understand those short, information-packed bits of communication, kind of like a team handover. You'll listen to a short recording and then answer just one multiple-choice question on it.
And finally, we've got Part C. This one challenges you with much longer recordings, maybe a presentation or an interview. Your job is to follow along with a really detailed discussion and answer a bunch of multiple-choice questions for each of the 2 recordings. All right, let's move on to the reading section. To do well here, it's not just about understanding the words. It's about that perfect balance of speed and strategy when you're dealing with complicated medical texts.
You get a whole hour for this section, and believe me, you're going to need it. You're facing 42 questions spread across 3 very different parts, each one based on a different kind of medical text.
Part A is a flat-out race against the clock. You've got only 15 minutes to answer 20 questions by finding specific details scattered across 4 short texts. It's all about how fast you can skim and scan for that information. Just think about that for a second. When you do the math, that's less than 45 seconds for each question. It's unbelievable. In this part, speed is absolutely everything. So after that mad dash in Part A, things change a bit for Parts B and C. Here, you have to slow down and read more carefully. Part B has you looking at short workplace documents, while Part C gives you 2 longer medical articles to really analyze. Both of them use multiple-choice questions to see what you've understood.
Okay, next up is the writing section. The main thing here isn't using big, fancy words. It's about being able to communicate really important information with total clarity and a clear purpose.
You'll have 45 minutes to do just one thing: write a letter. And it's usually a referral letter. They'll give you a set of a patient's case notes, and you have to use those to write your letter. So, to really nail this section, you need a system. It all starts with digging into those case notes to get a crystal clear picture of the patient's situation. Then, you've got to figure out, okay, who am I writing to and why? From there, you pick out only the super relevant details for that person, and finally, you put it all together into a clear, logical, well-structured letter.
Now let's talk about the speaking section. And this part, well, it's about so much more than just good grammar. It's really about how well you can communicate and build trust with a patient.
The test itself is made up of 2 role plays, and each one lasts for about 5 minutes. You'll be playing the part of the healthcare professional, and someone else will be playing the patient, or maybe a family member.
And this is what makes the speaking section so different. Your score is split right down the middle. Half of it is about your language skills, your fluency, grammar, and pronunciation. But the other half, and this is crucial, is all about your clinical communication skills. How well do you show empathy? Can you explain things clearly? Are you building that trust with the patient?
So, we've looked at all 4 parts now. But what's the big takeaway? What's the OET really testing?
And this right here gets to the very heart of the OET. It's not just another English exam, it's a professional assessment, and it's designed to see if you can use the language to be a safe, effective, and trusted healthcare provider. It's all about communication in context.
So when you look at it this way, the exam structure isn't just a list of things to do, right? It's your roadmap. It shows you exactly what you need to work on. And by mastering each part, you're doing so much more than just getting ready for a test. You're actually building the real-world communication skills that create patient trust. So the real question to ask yourself is, how are you going to prepare to become that confident, clear communicator your patients need you to be?